That way. How's it going, everyone? Good to see ya. I was going to try to wear some Halloween glasses, but I think it's more distracting than festive for everyone involved. So I figured, hey, no glasses, no costume tonight. But what's going on with everyone? Is anyone going to parties tonight? Me and Alyssa were just discussing that. And we just didn't plan, but we actually, if we had costumes, it's 8 o'clock. I feel like we could have gotten dressed and went to like downtown Orlando or something and had some fun. But I think we're just going to pass on this year and maybe double down next year. Hey, we have Canada in the house. How are you? What's going on, everyone? What's going on, YouTube? I got a really cool setup going here. I've got YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok all set up. I feel sorry that Facebook is left out. I need to get myself some sort of like stand where I can hold a bunch of different cameras. So when I do a Q&A, I can kind of hop from platform to platform and answer as many questions as possible. So everybody's staying in. And trick-or-treating is actually tomorrow, right? So that'll be, we live in an apartment building, so I don't know if there's gonna be any trick-or-treating here. But maybe we should have some candy just in case. Love the shirt. Thank you. I think I got this at Marshall's. You know what's funny? At first glance, you think it says believe in yourself, but it's actually misspelled and says believe in yourself. So I don't know. I'm sure that was intentional, but I didn't notice. But I still rock it out, loving the tie-dye. Laundry, yeah, it's one of those nights. We just have, you probably can't even really see. I don't want to touch these because it's like I just have the camera setting up. But we've got some cobwebs and some spider webs behind. Here on YouTube, you can definitely see it. But we're filming a podcast tomorrow, and we wanted to have at least a little bit of festivities in the background. But yeah, thanks for hopping on with me tonight. If you have any questions, please let me know. I love telling stories and answering questions. For those who've been following me for a while, you know I'll go on rants and fill you in on stuff. So feel free to ask some questions, and I will do my best to answer them. I'm enjoying some coffee right now, which I know is super late, but it's a Saturday. I can feel the holiday in the air, but I'm not drinking at the moment or eating sweets. And that's what Halloween is all about, is eating candy and drinking. But since I'm not doing either of those, the next best thing is coffee, even though it's a little late. But, you know. How do you feel about losing weight? It's really amazing. I've definitely gained and lost weight many times in the past 5-6 years. And this time is slightly different just because it's impacting me in more ways than just like losing weight and my clothes fitting better, but just my overall like discipline, I think, has carried over into other aspects of my life, because when I'm checking off the diet every day, it's making me more motivated to do other things and to keep it all together. Where if I'm like, I'm sticking to my diet today, I'm also going to stick to my schedule today. And it feels really good. And what I've also been realizing, and I think it's just like Alyssa and my, line of work, working for yourself, or if you're a business owner, self-employed, every day of your work day, the tasks and income and the checkpoints and the exciting things that happen is all on you. And when you are doing that on your own, some days are good and some days are bad. And I think having my diet and that discipline, so if there's a day that goes by where like a deal doesn't happen or something doesn't go the way we wanted, when I go to bed at night, I'm like, well, that didn't happen, but I didn't break my diet. So I still feel like I'm moving forward and didn't take a step back. It's been very helpful. And just my overall like aches and pains have went away. I've lost about 25 pounds. So it's been about, what's today? I think today's day 73. So I'm averaging about 2 pounds a week, which is the healthy way to do it. And I just want to keep it up. I want to see if I can keep it up through Christmas. And then I'm just going to slowly start adding things back in. But I really do think this is going to be it for me. I think this time I'm going to stick to it, and I'm not going to break it anymore. I think it's going to be a lifestyle for me now. So that's what's important, because I just feel good. So thank you for that question. But yeah, it's and now's like the toughest time, and I knew this time was coming, and maybe some of you were feeling that, where you're like, yeah, I kind of want to get after it, but it's like Halloween, then Thanksgiving, then Christmas, then New Year's. So everyone kind of punts these last 2 months, and I knew I would do that. So I told myself, if I don't start in August, I'm just going to keep going. And then by this time, I'm going to keep going. And then by New Year's, I'm going to be such in a hole. So I was like, I got to get after this now. So I'm glad I got a little bit of a head start, because I've never done that before, and then kept it going through the new year. But I'm going to focus next year on working out, like really taking it to the next level. I only worked out with a trainer once in my life for 9 months, got incredibly fit and incredibly strong, and then I just let that go. I'm still pretty good, but I've lost like 70, 80 pounds on my max bench and everything like that. But in 2022, I feel like by the time I get there, I'm going to have like low body fat. And then 2022, I want to focus the whole entire year on actually building muscle and try to put on 10, 15 pounds of muscle, but dedicate 2022 to that. And so I got a lot of things I'm looking forward to. Yeah, this year I don't think I'm dressing up. We just, like, this month flew by. We didn't plan anything. We had a really busy month, and we didn't plan anything. So Alyssa got some cat ears, and I got these goofy little glasses just to like mess around, but I'm not going to do anything too crazy. Yeah, I don't need a trainer. I know what to do. I've been training my whole life. The perks of having a trainer, though, in my opinion, is just the accountability. Like, if I scheduled at 8 a.m. tomorrow with a trainer, I won't cancel on my trainer. But if I wake up at 7:30 to my alarm, I might cancel on myself and just go back to bed. So I think having a trainer is to really show me what to do or push me. It's more just to make sure I show up and finish the workout, because you're also not going to quit on your trainer. So if you have an hour workout and you're 30 minutes in and you're just feeling lazy, you'll sometimes quit on yourself. But if the trainer's there, you're like, oh crap, I got to finish. So I think that's one of the biggest benefits of having a trainer. But I'm probably just going to do it myself, because I'm feeling very motivated. I'm doing the same thing, but I'm starting on Monday. Yeah, give it a go. I'm telling you, now's the time. Now's the time to start, because last year, Thanksgiving and Christmas, I just ate and drank. Like, right before my wedding, I was so pissed because I got married. We got married on December 31st last year, and I remember Thanksgiving was here, and I said, in the next 6 weeks, if I eat healthy and work out, I could weigh 12 pounds less for my wedding. And I didn't do that. And so I got married. I was about 15 pounds heavier than I'd like to have been on my wedding. But for our 1 year anniversary, my goal is to be about 170. So that's going to be my goal. But I was up to 215 roughly this past summer. So I had a lot of fun, had a lot of burgers and a lot of beer, and I had a good time, but I had to flip flop it. So I'm down in the 180s again, which is great. But I do want to get down to 170. Are you going back to acting? I think there'll be some sort of acting that I do in the future. I just don't know what that'll look like. I'm not sure. I think I'm definitely going to do some sort of acting, but it might just be on my own terms. I think in the future, being able to create a movie or a little short film, or even like a series and put it online or sell it, or who knows. But I don't know if I would ever actually move back to LA and go in the audition circuit. I think that phase is over. But I also live a crazy adventurous life, so you never know. I could pick up and move to Australia in 6 months. Who knows? Like, I'm very open to a lot of different things, but I really feel at home here in Florida, and I just feel like that was just a cool ass chapter to have in my life, to live in Los Angeles for 15 years, to work on a bunch of projects. I mean, I've done a bunch of national commercials and television, and wrote my own web series with my buddies, and we raised money and filmed it, and then working on Days of Our Lives for 9 years. um, you know 800 and some episodes, and I feel like I really got a good taste of it, and I love it. But there's this other side of life that I want to explore. I've only really known Hollywood and acting in LA because I moved to LA 3 weeks after graduating high school in 2006. And now, since we moved to Florida in 2020, this is the first time I'm an adult. And I know who I am. I know what I want. I know what motivates me. I have my goals and my plans, and I'm in a whole new world. I'm in Florida, and I'm just outside the industry, and I'm just learning a lot about myself. I'm learning a lot about what I really enjoy. So acting is a big part of my life. I built a skill set over 15 years. And so I think I'll do something with it. So that's my long-winded answer. But I do think I'll act in some capacity. I just don't know what that's going to be or when it's going to be. The weather here is beautiful. I think it's probably like 68 degrees right now. So here in Florida, we've got I would say at the moment it's like 68, 70 in the morning, and between noon and 5 it's like 80, and then it gets nice and cool at night. So it's kind of perfect. Is Benji dressing up? Not this year. I don't know if we're gonna. I don't know. We might dig through our storage unit and find something, but it just wasn't the year. So I wish I was a millionaire, Freddie. Do you think I'd be able to hire you to wake me up, be my motivator? Yes, I would do that, Patricia. Sending you all the good vibes to hit the lottery and get millions of dollars, and I would love to take that job, knock on your door and motivate you. That would be awesome. Happy Halloween. Favorite Halloween movie? I would say the classics are just a home run. I think they're classics for a reason. Like any like Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, Jason, love all those. Alyssa's actually going to watch Hocus Pocus tonight. She's trying to drag me into it, but I just can't. I think it's awesome, but it's just not my type of film. I loved it as a kid. And I even thought the leads when I was a kid were so much older. It was kind of like watching Sandlot. Did you all watch Sandlot growing up? I remember I was those kids' age. So like the lead kid, when I was a kid, I remember thinking like, wow, he's so cool and so old. And now you watch it and you're like, oh, wow, this is a child. But yeah, I like those. And I'd say my favorite horror film I ever saw was Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the one with Jessica Biel. I just thought it was a quality horror film. It was very, very good. I started back in June for vacation. I've kept to it. Hey, congratulations. That's like the craziest thing about a diet or eating healthy or working out is that it's, at least when it comes to like creating like wealth or making money, you can actually build something that can pay you, or you can hire people to do things eventually. But your fitness and health, you always have to do it no matter what. So it's so important to just get into the habits. And that's why I keep trying to tell myself, it's like, just learn moderation. And that's why I'm taking like a big break from like dairy, processed food, sugar, alcohol, because I just want to go without it for so long that when I reintroduce it, I can just have it sparingly. Because it would be fun, like a couple times a month, having some pizza or having some drinks. But I want to just take that big break so I can just get in shape. It's just that time in my life that I want to do that. Favorite candy bar, Snickers. Snickers, Snickers, Snickers. Reese's peanut butter cup, close second. And you know what? I bet you won't guess my third. Yeah, Snickers, Reese's cup, and third is Butterfinger. Butterfinger is awesome. I'm just thinking about it right now. Yes, Butterfinger. Do you have any kids? I do not. I have a 13-year-old Maltese Shih Tzu named Benji. So he is our kid, our little doggy. But no kids as of yet. Let me catch up on some of these comments here. This year we are not dressing. We are not dressing up. Hey, Leanne, how are you? My neighbor Leanne, my soon-to-be neighbor. Benji and Alyssa are in the other room right now. I don't know what they're doing, but when I set up, Alyssa always kind of runs because she knows I'm going to be talking for a while. My folks aren't coming for Thanksgiving, but they are coming for Christmas. So I'm very, very pumped about that. They're coming out to for a whole week for Christmas. So this is what's really neat is that we have not been together as a blended family since 2012, maybe. So it's been like 9 years since all the families got together. So Alyssa's parents are going to be here. My sister-in-law and brother-in-law and our nieces are going to be here. My mom and dad are going to be here. So we're going to have the family together. We have the little ones running around. And Alyssa's parents have they bought a house about 6, 7 months ago, and it's like a perfect home for entertaining. And my parents got an Airbnb down the street, and it's like in a beautiful community. So me, my dad, and my father-in-law are all going to go golfing. So I'm really pumped. I'm really, really pumped about it. And I just want to get my parents down here more often. But they've lived in Ashtabula, Ohio for their whole lives, so 65 years. And I don't think they would ever sell their house and move here like full time. I think when the grandbaby comes or grandbabies come, they'll might be tempted. But I think once we get a house, the house that we're going to look for, we want to have like a mother-in-law suite or a guest house that has its own like kitchen, bathroom, and so my parents can kind of come and have their own space. And I think more likely they'll probably come for like 2 months in the winter and then maybe pop in a week or two in like spring and fall, and then I'll pop home once in the summer because Ohio in the summer is legit. I love it. I have so many friends and family there, and so I think that'll kind of be what we do, and just so I can start seeing my parents more because that was one of the big sacrifices that I made and they made when I decided to move to LA to be an actor in 2016 because I was gone for 15 years and I only seen them once a year. So from 2006 to 2021, I saw my parents maybe 20 times. And those 20 times were like 5 to 10 days long. And so I look back and I'm like, I didn't even get to hang out with my parents when I was in my 20s and they were in their 50s. Like we both missed that decade of each other's lives. We talk all the time, but there's nothing like hanging out in person. So we really want to make up for lost time, and that's why being in Florida and like an hour and 47-minute nonstop flight to Cleveland's like no big deal. So I'm really excited for this chapter of my life to hang with family and see what we're gonna do, with Alyssa and myself too. Hey, how's it going? I'm gonna hop over to YouTube here. Let's see. Thanksgiving, we don't have any plans yet, but I can only assume that Alyssa's parents are probably going to cook dinner and we'll probably go there for Thanksgiving. So I think that is what we're going to do. Yes, if Netflix called me and said, "Hey, we have a show that we would like you to be the lead of," I would put on my acting cap. But honestly, it would have to be something I really want to do. Like I would not just take anything, because I understand the time commitment, and that's what's kind of shifted in my life as well, where I'm very aware of like how I want to spend my time. So if there was some script, even if it was Netflix, and it was going to go for like 4 seasons, and it was going to take 9 months a year to film, being on set 16 hours a day, I would really want to like what I'm doing because I'm aware of what those 4 years mean and what that work means, what I could be doing. So it would have to be something I really, really wanted to do. And but you never know what scripts come up, or there's some really good shows. Like, if you all seen Made on Netflix, that was a great show. Like, anytime I see a show like Made, I always go like, this is why I got into acting. It's so good. It's so good that you want to be a part of it. And then you watch a bunch of like popcorn stuff, which is nice to unplug. But I watch it and I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't want to do this. Like, there's other things that would excite me more. But every now and then there'll be a show like Dexter or Shameless, um, just classic shows that are just so good. And I would love to show up and do something like that. But I'm really enjoying what we're doing now. I love this. The first time that we're fully self-employed. As an actor, you're technically self-employed, but you have a boss, you have a schedule that someone else creates, you have a paycheck. So even though it's considered self-employment, this is the first time these past almost 2 years that we've been fully self-employed and doing it on our own. And I like it. It's exciting, and that's kind of what in my life. I really, really love having just adventure. I love waking up and being like, what can I do today? What can I accomplish? And it's been really awesome. I have not been to Wooster, Ohio, but I'm definitely aware of Wooster, and I don't know why. Is there a college there, like basketball potentially? Any advice for moving to Florida from Ohio? Um, I mean, a couple things now that I'm thinking about it. Number one is because I've learned this from us moving and Alyssa's parents moving. These are just a couple little things. Um, Try to downsize as much as possible and only take and ship things that you actually need. I would potentially recommend coming down for a week or two and really exploring the areas so that you know where to go and see where you want to live and get a good vibe of the area. If you're going to drive, make sure to stop halfway in between and have a hotel. So like really enjoy yourself. You're moving. It's a stressful time. So like splurge on like a 4-star hotel and spend like 250 bucks. And when you drive 9 hours, pull in around 5, 6 o'clock. You'll have a beautiful hotel, check in, go to the room, relax, take a shower, go to dinner, have some wine, watch a movie, go to bed, wake up refreshed, and then finish your 8-hour trip to get to your new place. Don't try to drive straight through. Don't try to drive till you're tired and then pull over in some weird ass motel. Not worth it. So that's a really good piece of advice. And the last piece, if you're looking to buy, I know a really great realtor here in Florida, and she just happens to be my wife. So DM Alyssa Tabbitt if you're looking to buy something, and she'll help you find it. But I'd say those are my pieces of advice when it comes to moving. And if you are going to do the last thing, this is what me and Alyssa did, but we got a little carried away. Again, it's a bit stressful, but you can alleviate stress if you're going to move here first and rent or Airbnb. Again, save up a little extra so that you can live somewhere nice that isn't old or dirty just because you want to save $600. Like, spend a little bit extra so that when you do finally pick up a move, you're in this new area. You're not in some like smelly place, but you got a nice clean bed, a nice clean place. It doesn't have to be extravagant, but just something nice. It's like worth a little extra money. So that would be my biggest advice. Put an extra grand or two away so that you can stay at a hotel. And if you're going to rent here a little bit, that you can do it in style so that you can really focus on finding a place to call home. Uh, yes, I do. I stay in touch with a bunch of people from this show. Sometimes we text. A lot of the time, it's on Instagram. I have not seen you. They have 3 seasons now, right? And my castmate and buddy Christopher Sean is on season 3, but I haven't watched season 1 or 2 and now 3. But I know it's doing well. I just haven't committed to the show. But I've heard a lot of good things about it. Lucifer, I've heard. I need to pick another show. Yeah, Florida's definitely more expensive than Ohio. I think it used to be the same like 4 years ago, and now Florida. It's kind of interesting because it's like where I like California, like $1 million house in California would be about like 400 to 500 in Florida, and then would be about like 270 in Ohio. But I feel like 5 years ago, $1 million house in California would be like a 350 house in Florida. But things have been going up. But Florida is a hidden gem. People, I don't know, like, I guess Florida's like Disney World or like where people maybe go to retire or whatever it is. But it's nice all year round. You're close to Orlando and Tampa and Sarasota, Naples. Disney World is here. Miami. You're close to hopping over to Playa del Carmen in Mexico or Cancun. You're close to the Bahamas. There's a lot of really cool places here, and you got the beaches, but you also got the city if you need it. So I just want the prices to hold off before rising, just like another 6 to 8 months, because I want to be able to buy a home and then it can continue to climb so we can build some equity there. Yeah, Benji's all good. He had a little checkup the other day, and he's doing great. So we're very pumped that we're keeping him healthy. But he lives like the cushiest life. Like he's spoiled. He sleeps in a nice bed. We feed him great food. He gets exercise and sunlight. He gets all the medicine he needs if he's ever feeling sick, and he gets groomed once a month and lots of love. We would not get another dog. I'm I love Benji, but it's a big responsibility. And if we want to travel or we want to go places, you always have to have people watch them. Or if something happens, you have to bring them to the vet and the expenses. But the love they give you equals it out. But I don't think we would get another dog anytime soon. But I think Benji's gonna hold on for another 3 to 5 years. Oh yeah, yeah. Cleveland Browns. I tell you what, that's the heartbeat. That's the heartbeat of northeastern Ohio. I tell you what, you can. Everyone's a Browns fan. Hey, Clearwater's beautiful. I don't know if I would ever live there, but I would definitely spend some time there. Just because I think it's far away. Like, but then again, it's like it doesn't really matter. I just feel like Orlando is starting to feel like home. But we could technically live in Clearwater, which I think is closer to Tampa, right? Isn't Clearwater? Yeah, Clearwater is probably what 30 minutes from Tampa, or Orlando's an hour. And Alyssa does a lot of work in Tampa, so we got Fort Lauderdale in the house. At the moment, just focusing on other things outside of the acting business. But the cool thing about acting, it's not like I was an athlete. Like if you're an athlete, other than like golf, you have a time limit on when your career, if you take a break or something like that. But with acting, it's like you can kind of act no matter what, whenever. So I feel no need or rush to ever do it. Like I would truly do it. And this was always what I wanted to do, where it can just be a fun hobby. Like I want to create a career for myself and have different things going on and then act for fun. Still get paid, but act for fun where I don't have to use the paycheck to eat, but it's just extra, like I'd want to, I want to be very picky and just do something that would be fun for 3 weeks or with some fun people. I just didn't want to get caught up in the race ever. And let's see what we are here. Steelers and Browns, baby. Cincinnati. Yes, if you got a day's question, I'd love to answer. Please let me know. Fire away. Yeah, Florida is affordable. Yeah, you can still get like a nice place. Like for 330, you can get like a really nice house, 3, 4 beds, like 1,800 square feet, like kind of redone, maybe even a pool if you're lucky. That's non-existent in California. So maybe other parts of the country that's like a little high end. Like in my hometown, Ashtabula, like 330 is a little like upper class, or upper, like up in the people who are going to spend more money on it. But in places like California, like you can't get a house for under 600,000, 700,000, and it needs work, like big time work. So when I see a 330 home in Florida, I'm like, a 4 bedroom, 2 bath, brand new with a little patio outside overlooking the lake for 330. Damn. Oh my God. I have a small 1,100 square foot home, 9 blocks from the beach in California. It's 800 grand. Hey, but you're blocks from the water. California, great weather, the opportunities, great. Depends on where are you in California. There's a lot of great places in California. Let's see where we're at here. Yeah, it's interesting. We actually found the perfect lot. Like I want to buy this lot so bad in Reunion, Florida, and I just don't. I just because Patricia was talking to me about my dad has built 20 homes in his life, and in my entire life growing up, we remodeled everything in our house. So my whole entire life growing up, I've done every sort of handyman thing you could possibly imagine, from painting to ripping up floors, laying floors, digging ditches, building fences, laying asphalt, laying cement, redoing garages, driveways, pools, building decks, building new walls, additions, heated floors, electric, plumbing, like all of it, roofing. I wasn't home this September. My dad and his buddies re-sided the entire house. Um, but I grew up doing all this stuff, and my dad builds houses, and I really wanted to build a house with my dad because I think it'd be really fun. But we were talking about it, and I think the best route, if we ever did that, would be to buy a plot of land and then pay a company to put the shell up, so that everything foundation wise, permit wise, would all be great. Put up the shell, do the electric, the HVAC, do the plumbing, and then just leave it empty. And we could go in and within 3, 4 months, like build inside the house. And the benefit of that would be, number one, it'd be fun as hell. I get to work with my dad. I get to refresh and learn new skills. I get to document my journey for TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. I think people love watching renovations. I love doing them. And if we didn't have to pay a crew of people to do it, but we did it ourselves, we'd probably save like 30 to 60 grand. And that would be extra equity in the house, which is super smart. But there's much more risk involved. And I would just have to decide when the time's right. Do I want to commit 3, 4 months of my life to do that? Or could I be doing something else for 3, 4 months while someone else is doing that work? So we're going to have to wait and cross that bridge when we get there. But deep down, That sounds like fun. But then the easier way to do it is just buy a fixer upper and then just take room at a time is probably the way to go, because then we could probably do it in 6 weeks. So I still get all of that. We still get a little equity. I still get time with my dad. I still get to learn skills. I get to renovate. Might not make as much equity, but it's less time. So, but those are options. And it's something that I really want to do. And especially with Alyssa being in real estate, if I can get into flipping and that could be something on the side. I don't know. No, I'm just kind of taking a day at a time. I'm learning to like just tackle the day, have some goals and plans, but also just keep thinking about them and making sure that it's worth pursuing, because sometimes we get too many things on our plate and then everything suffers. So right now we're just laser focused on like 3 projects, and that's what we're doing every day. And it feels really good. So though I like doing a lot of things, it's kind of nice to just have a handful of things to focus on. There's also no state income tax. Yeah. Oh, Pismo Beach. Yeah. That's beautiful. Husband and I are planning on moving to. Yeah, Disney's awesome. There's some big time Disney fanatics here. I tell you what, it's you can feel the energy because we live 10 minutes south of it, and you can feel the energy of people who are vacationing here. It's a really cool vibe because is in a great mood. Everybody's grocery shopping, barbecuing, have their Airbnbs. They're going to Disney. They got their ears on. Like, it's a cool place. Joey, you must be shadow banned. No, I see you here. Did you ask a question that I missed? Where? Oh, would I? Hey, Joey, I see your comment right here. I would not. I really, really am happy with what we did there. Joey's question was if I would ever go back to days. I When I left in February, I really had time to think about the option because I knew eventually the call would probably come in some facet. And I really took a long time to think about it and weighed all my options. And after it's been some time, and I really thought about that, that's why when they called for Peacock, I ended up passing on it. I just made the decision that I just love what we did. I think it was like that time in my life, that chapter, and I think we knocked it out of the park. And all of it was thanks to all of you who tuned in and watched it, because it wasn't for sure when we first started in 2011. Equal rights movement was in a really different place then, and thank God we've come such a long way. And but yeah, all of your interest and everyone showing up and watching the storyline, and Wilson becoming a power couple on the show is what helped us be able to tell that story and allowed me to be employed as an actor for 9 years. So I'm just grateful for the experience, but it really does feel like a chapter in my book, and it's a closed chapter. I love it. I met some of my greatest friends. I learned so much about being an actor, and so it was a great time in my life. But that chapter is going to be closed for me. Hey, we got Ashtabula in the house. Yeah, I'd say we're going to visit. We're going to visit a lot of places. Alyssa and I have some big plans. Whenever time opens up, we want to do some sort of like a like meet and greet. We want to go around. I don't know if we're hoping next year sometime, but I don't want to promise that until we know we can do it. But we're going to pick some different states, go around. We'd love to meet all of you, or as many as many as we can. When did you first get into acting, and what was your first movie, TV series? That's a great question. I officially got into acting when I was 17 years old. I'll spare the long story this time. I've shared this before, the very long story, but I'll give you kind of like the shorter version of it. I started taking acting classes in Cleveland, Ohio. I went there every weekend for 6 months in my senior year. Then I went out to an acting competition called IMTA in 2005, 2006. Had a lot of great feedback. Had never really acted before, but because of the kind of feedback I was getting, I was like, I really want to do this. I didn't want to go to school. I didn't want to go any further education. I was either going to work on cars or I was going to sell cars in my hometown, was kind of my two options. And I was like, I can do that or I can go try this acting thing. So I decided to go because of the great response I got. I was like, maybe I could do this. And I moved out to LA in 2006, got an agent. And between 2006 and 2008 was 3 years that if you could have a cookie cutter actor, it would be me. Every man who was cast as a lead in anything in 2006, 7, and 8 looked like me. So I was auditioning 3-4 times a week for 3 years straight. I just wasn't that good. So I didn't book very many things, but it gave me so much experience. So in my lifetime, I auditioned 500 times. That's kind of unheard of these days. People are lucky to get one audition a month now. But back then, I was getting tons of auditions. And my first role that got me into SAG, the actor union, was a co-spot on the show Medium. And that was Patricia Arquette's show. It aired, I shot it in 2007. It aired in 2008, where it was a flashback. And Jennifer Lawrence was in the scene with me. She was the girl in the back seat, and I was smoking weed trying to get her high. And it was like a 2-minute scene. This was before Jennifer Lawrence was Jennifer Lawrence. That was my first like TV debut, and it gave me some confidence that I could do this. And then in 2009, I booked a Taco Bell commercial, and it paid me 30 grand. So I quit my serving job like 6 months later because I booked a few more commercials. And then in 2010, I booked 90210, worked on that for a few months, did a handful of episodes. And then in 2011, booked Days of Our Lives, and then worked on that for almost 9 years straight, had a little break in between, did a couple other commercials, filmed some of my own stuff. But in 2013, I stopped auditioning. So I haven't really auditioned. I haven't been in an audition room in probably 8 years. But I've maybe put like 5 or 6, 7 things on tape ever since. But I pivoted away from auditioning because I was just going to commit myself to working on days and then focusing on my own projects outside of the entertainment business. And so that's what kind of started everything that Alyssa and I do now. Is back in 2014, we started working on, e-commerce and marketing and advertising. And then once like social media got bigger and podcasting and things like that, but we were able to control that on our own schedule, because what was happening when I was working on days is I would have an audition and it would be on Thursday. And I was like, oh yeah, I don't work on Thursday, so this is perfect. So I'll go into the audition. Then I get a call back the very next day. And I worked, and it was, say, me and Chandler, and we were at the Brady pub. And I said, hey, I have this like callback. Can we move my day? They would move it if it was just me and one other person, because it's not that difficult. But if I were to do it, it's like a wedding or there's a hospital scene where there's 6 other actors, you can't move the day because they're not going to move 6 people's schedule just for you. So there was a time I booked a commercial and couldn't do it. There were times that I had callbacks that I couldn't do. And I was like, I don't want to work all day on set, drive 2 hours to Fox, audition, drive all the way home, get a call that I have a callback, but then not be able to go to it. So I just found myself like, I'm not going to do that. So I just focused on go all in on days, write my own scripts, shoot my own stuff, and then build my own business. And I can do it on my own terms. And it worked well. And then once I was done with the show in February of 2020, I said, maybe this is a sign that I should audition again. So I went and got an agent, and I auditioned a few times on tape. But then we were in Florida, and I had this one audition for a movie, and I kept reading it, and I was like, I just wasn't feeling it. And I was like, I'm not going to fight it anymore. I feel like I put the energy out there, and if the acting world wanted me, I feel like I would have gotten a sign or a pull. And so it really was a clear moment for me. So I called my agent and I was like, hey, I'm just gonna just be done for a while. And then 3 weeks later, Days called about Peacock. And I was like, what were the chances of all this timing? And so I was like, no, I was like, thank you, but I'm going to pass on that. So it kind of all happened within like a month or two, but I gave it like an honest try for a year of me being like, let me see if something's meant to be here. But in my heart of hearts, like I just really feel good about what we're doing now. And I'm just really, really enjoying it. And I'll tell you, this might be different if I was born in a different time, but I feel like I'm still able to entertain because of these apps. Like I'm able to hop on and talk to all of you. I'm able to make like skits. I can make videos. So I feel like I'm still getting the ability to be creative. Because back in like the 90s, if I was on a soap opera and then just disappeared and never acted again, everyone would be like, whatever happened to that guy? But at least nowadays I can, chill with all of you here, and we have our podcast, we make videos. And so I feel like I'm being creative. I'm actually doing a commercial. I guess you call it a commercial. I mean, it's a commercial, but I guess you would technically call it a brand deal because it's going to be on TikTok and Instagram, but it's with a really big company and a very big product that you all will know. And so I'm filming that next week, and I think I'll be posting it sometime in November. But these are all things where I'm going to act, but I'm also directing it, editing it. I wrote it. I sent in the script to the company for confirmation, so they're going to sign off hopefully Monday, and then I'm going to shoot it next week. So I'm still getting to do that, just on a different kind of platform, and I get to kind of be in charge. So let me catch up here. I know. Oh, Dexter's tomorrow. Is Dexter come back already tomorrow? If that's the case, that's so exciting. Some of my favorite actors. I have a bunch. I would say, it's tough. Someone like Will Smith, I really enjoy because he got to do a sitcom and then action films, which I think are just two of the coolest things to do. But I also was on a highly intense drama for 9 years, so maybe that's why like some action or comedy sounds appealing. Definitely got my fix of drama. Denzel Washington is another favorite of mine. I'm on a kick of him right now. I'll go back and watch some of his like older movies, and he's great. Mark Wahlberg, Leo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, another three dudes that I just absolutely love. Um, and then just the comedy world is endless. Like the Jason Batemans of the world, and Seth Rogen's and Adam Sandler's. I mean, I love all that kind of stuff. Um, Alyssa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig. But I don't know if I have like an actual like all-time favorite actor. I'm probably missing people too, because I'll like appreciate someone in a role. Like Bryan Cranston in Breaking Bad and Your Honor was so great. So that's, yeah, it just all depends on the movie, because sometimes I'll love somebody in a movie or as an actual character. Some people like nail the character, but then you see them in other things, and sadly, it just kind of doesn't translate because they're so that character. But How old were you when you got your first job? Well, my first, like, I guess you'd say my first, because I was an umpire for Little League. I did a couple, that was like my first paycheck when I was in my early teens. And I also started a lawn mowing and landscaping business with my two buddies, Chad and Jamal, when I was, I don't know, maybe 16, 17 years old. But then I got a job at McDonald's when I was 17, and I worked there for 6 months. I did the cashier, I did the drive-through, I did the flipping of burgers in the back, and that was like my first like job. And then when I moved out to LA, I worked for a doggy daycare, which sounds amazing, but it wasn't. There were 90 dogs, and really, you don't babysit. You just go around and clean up poo and pee all day. So I only did that for 3 weeks. And then I got a job going door to door, asking people if they would like a free estimate. And anytime they would sign up for a free estimate and the contractor would show up, I would get a bonus, but that became very tough. So I quit that after a while. Worked at the AAA for 3 weeks. Also, a very stressful job. Everyone calls you in a panic because it's AAA. And so didn't do that very long. And then I finally found my roots at American Eagle. Worked at American Eagle for a year and a half. And then I worked at Outback Steakhouse for a year and a half. And then I booked a few national commercials and then was just a working actor after that. So I had a bunch of jobs, but it was nice. You know, as much as I wanted success earlier when it came to acting, it also allowed me to learn lessons that I needed. You know, I think some people obviously can become successful at 12 or 15 or 16, 18, 21 in acting. And that's awesome. And I think it works for a lot of people. Some people it's really tough on, but I kind of had this gradual slope where I never really got too much attention or money at a certain time that affected the way people treat me or stunted my ability to grow and navigate as a person. So that's one of the comments I saw here too, and I really appreciate that compliment. People are like, "You're very down to earth," and I think that just comes from just my entire humble experience. You know, I think a lot of people might see me on a TV show and you might have preconceived notions of what my life may be or whatever you know may think that is, but I've definitely had a lot of success and good times in my life and great people in my life, but it's been I've earned my keep here, and it's been a 16-year journey of a lot of bumps and bruises. And I'm real proud of my younger self for keeping going, because I look back and I'm just like, if I ever knew what was actually and what this path would have been, it would have scared me. But as you're going through it, you just grow from it. And so I sit here today just very humbled and very grateful. I'm very, very grateful for my health, for work, for money, for the attention I get on these apps. There's millions of people making content, and so many of you show up all the time for us. And I don't take that for granted. I'm like, I got to keep being like interesting, and I want to keep putting out good content, and I want to share my lessons in life with all of you, because maybe it'll help you. A lot of the things I learned in life was by watching people on the internet. I don't know them, but they share their wisdom or they share a story, and I go, oh my God, I needed to hear that. So yeah, that's where my down to earthness comes from, is that this journey was not handed to me, and I still feel like I'm in the early stages. We have big plans, and we had to go through all these growing pains in order to equip ourselves with the ability to handle more responsibility. So that's kind of where that all comes from. Yeah, Halloween is Alyssa's favorite holiday. You think we would have? This was the fastest month of the entire year. It was like, it's Halloween. Like, what? Like I don't. We were just incredibly busy this month, and I loved it. And so yeah, we're gonna end up missing the Halloween dressing up train and all that this year, but we'll double down next year. Love your tie dye shirt. Thank you. Yeah, I like tie dye. I'm glad they made a comeback. Johnny Depp. Yeah, I like Johnny Depp. Um, Angelina Jolie. I would say Mr. and Mrs. Smith and the movie Wanted was my two favorite Angelina. Oh my God, Gone in 60 Seconds. Those are my three Angelina Jolie films I think I love the most. I didn't see a Tomb Raider. I wonder if that was good. Does anyone know if Tomb Raider was good? She was in Tomb Raider, right? And then Johnny Depp, the movie Below is a great movie. That was a phenomenal movie. What else was Johnny Depp in that I liked? Like the Pirates of the Caribbean was like cool, but like um, What's Eating Gilbert Grape? I know that was older, but that was good. Johnny Depp. What else? What else was Johnny Depp like? What was another great film that Johnny Depp did? You all are so kind. I always love your kind comments. Thank you so much for sharing. Catch up over here. We have a little bit of merchandise. It's been on the list. We want to do some new stuff so bad, but we just haven't gotten around to putting it at the top of the priority list. But we did keep our podcast show mug and two other of our favorite T-shirts. But we just have a couple things. We had masks for a while. We had some other shirts, and we've been meaning to do like a whole new line. Like we wanted to do something really fun, some tie dye stuff. So that's all in the future. But it's on the list. But it's just we also want to do it right. We want to come out with something really cool. But yeah, we'll do some merchandise in the future. See where we are. Tampa. I think I got this in Marshalls. Today's day 73. I'm down 25 pounds. 25. That's two Benjis and 5 pounds. So once I hit 30, that's three Benjis down. My buddy always says when you lose 40 pounds, that's how much a microwave weighs. So once I hit my 40-pound mark, I can say I've lost a microwave. Yeah, 90210 was season 3. There were 5 episodes in season 3 that I did. Very small part. It had potential to be bigger, but it kind of was just like in and out. So it wasn't anything. I didn't have much screen time in those 5 episodes. But yeah, when it comes to the favorite scenes that I shot, I really liked everything I did. You know, there was never really a time that I was unhappy with the storyline. The stuff when Greg Rickard came in, Leo, that was really fun. Um, but that was later on. You know, the big moments of Will and Sonny's love story, those pinnacle moments, pivotal moments, were very important to see. Like everything being perceived by the audience and us making that love story come to fruition and the wedding and um but then any time that we could like improv a little and just have fun scenes were really great. I always loved that working with Camila. I feel like we always had fun stuff. The only time that it was like slightly boring, which was rare, but was if we were kind of the C storyline and you basically were just there in the scene to kind of fill the audience in on what's going on. So it was more exposition. So it's like you would basically show up and it's like, oh, Will and Sonny's here. And like, is everything okay? Like, I know that Uncle Vic got shot yesterday and Sierra was running to the hospital. And then I saw, you know, my dad was talking to Chad and then Chad was calling Gabby because I know that her fashion line and her blah, 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 blah. Like you're basically filling everybody in on what's going on. Was never really that fun. And it's kind of hard because you can't connect emotionally to that. You're just basically trying to sound like you are in that, but you're just kind of sharing exposition. But if it's not you, it's someone else. So those days were always like, well, you know, but that was rare. Anytime I got to like scream and yell, that was fun. And then some days when we didn't have much dialogue, the day of work was easy. But then when you watch it, it was kind of like not that interesting. Just like when my character's mom died, that's fun to tune in and be like, how did that turn out? But the day of work is incredibly hard. So the harder the day of work, the more the reward when you watch it. The easier day of work, the less of a reward when you watch it. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really have anything like favorite. I felt really like lucky. Like we had like the coolest storyline. It had its challenging moments, but for the most part, was just kind of like chill. Even Sarah, one of my hairdressers on the show, I remember one day she was fixing our hair in between a scene, and she goes, "You and Chandler have like the easiest schedule over here. Like you guys are so lucky." And I was like, "We kind of did." Like most of the time, we were just in the Kiriakis mansion. We'd work like 3 4 hours. Um, and then there were other people who had just like tons of dialogue, like paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs. So when it came to like the work itself, um, you know, that was like that. And then like I kind of forget the first 4 years, to be honest. Like when I was younger and like Brendan Coughlin was there and Blake was there and when Casey Diedrich was working there and Kate Mancy, like I remember we were all like the young crew, but that was kind of a blur when I think back to it. I don't really remember much of what was going on during that time. And it's a good question. Have I met an actor that disappointed me? Um, Not really. Every time I've met someone, it's been in the right context. You know, I feel sometimes if you just catch someone on a bad day or weird timing, maybe there could be like an interesting vibe. Um, yeah, that's actually a good thing though. Like I haven't had anyone who's like been sketchy. Everyone's just been friendly that I've met. I've met a lot of people in passing. Like I've seen a lot of celebrities, but I haven't met, you know, like where I actually had dialogue with them. You know what I mean? But I've seen, you know, Britney Spears up and close and personal, Steve Harvey. I was on Steve Harvey's show actually. I did Steve Harvey's show once. Um, Charlize Theron, me and Alyssa walked by her one day. I've seen Mark Wahlberg a few times. Leo DiCaprio was in a hotel lobby that we were in once, and he like disappeared in thin air. I was like, where the hell is there like secret elevators or something? But these are people I didn't actually meet. Like I got to meet Will Ferrell once and shook his hand. We raced go karts together. That was awesome. Um, and probably a bunch of other people I'm just forgetting because it's you just meet people in passing, but I didn't build like relationships with anyone where I can like text or anything. Unless they were on days. Like people who come and go on days, I built like ooh, a pretty good relationship with everybody who was on days. Like I wouldn't be able to walk down the street or they wouldn't be able to walk down the street with like anyone who's ever been on the show without us being like, "Hey, what's up?" Yeah, I miss do I miss any burgers and alcohol? Yeah, I mean I do, but I'm just solely focused on what I'm doing right now that I kind of just I don't really care at the moment. Like even Alyssa's having some wine tonight, but I'm like, I'm on a mission. I really want to just get this last 19 pounds off of me, and then when I'm at my goal weight, then I'll have a day. Because if like eat and drink for 2 days, and I'm like, oh, I gained a pound, then I can just in 2 days lose it. But when I'm trying to lose these last 19, I don't even want to slow down at all. Like I just want to see if I can, you know, achieve that by the new year. Me and Alyssa met. Me and Alyssa met at a party in 2010, and we didn't really like hit it off like the first time we met. It was kind of just like a polite like hello. She was dating, kind of not dating like seriously, but kind of going on dates with my friend at the time. And then they broke up like 3 weeks later. And then maybe like a month or two later, um, she ended up filming like this little web series that me and my buddies were doing. And then we just became friends, started talking on Facebook a lot. And then we started hanging out. And then a friendship blossomed. And then we were hanging out like 4 times a week. And then 2010 was the party year of my life. Like we partied every single day in 2010. It was just crazy. Like day pool parties, parties at nights, house parties, clubs. Like 2010 was just like the season of like love and friendships and dating, and just like 2010 was crazy. But Alyssa and I were best friends in that time. She was dating other people, I was dating other people. So when we finally got together, we didn't really have any secrets. We knew who each other was. We knew each other's exes. So it wasn't, we went on double dates with different people. Um, so it wasn't like, so I think that's what really helped is we had no stories. Like once we got together, there was nothing to share. We had talked many nights in car rides to on the we used to smoke cigarettes on the balcony and just like talk till 3 in the morning. Like we got to know each other as friends without anything physical, except a few drunk nights making out, which was awesome. But it never stuck. But then in like summer of 2011 is when it stuck, and we've been together ever since. She moved in 3 weeks after we got together. We've been together ever since. But that's what kind of I think set us up for success, just because we truly knew who each other were, and it wasn't just a physical attraction. It was like we genuinely liked each other. Like she was like my best friend, and that's how we are today. It's just awesome. Oh yeah, John Wick's a great one. I love Keanu Reeves. See, it's funny because TikTok will show you your first comments and then you miss old ones, but Insta, I'm starting to get comments about like things I talked about 20 minutes ago. I'm like, oh crap, I got to catch up on these. And then YouTube, I've got everything right here. Hey, Lakeland, Florida. Yeah, you're about 30 minutes from me. We're on the 4 all the way to Tampa all the time, so I see Lakeland. But yeah, we've been in Florida for about a little over a year. Heather, congrats. Heather lost 45 pounds. She's been implementing intermittent fasting. That's awesome. I sometimes do that. Like today, my first meal was at 3 in the afternoon, but I didn't intentionally do that. I usually eat breakfast when I wake up, but sometimes I end up fasting. Victoria was awesome. She was my actual neighbor. Her and I, our dressing rooms were right next to each other, but we never had many scenes together. So we kind of like were friendly in passing, and we kind of like chit chatted every now and then. But I think we had just like one scene together. Um, so yeah, she was awesome. She was one of those actors on the show that we just unfortunately never, had scenes. And and there's a few people like that on the show where I just never really worked with. So we were always super friendly and we know each other well. But I feel like the true bonding happens when you are like working with someone all the time and you're like, hey, like come in my dressing room, let's run these lines. And like you end up shooting the shit for 20 minutes and like that's where the relationship builds. Yeah, Victoria was one of the people. And then Ari Zucker, her and I never worked together ever. I think we had two scenes in 9 years together. But the reason I got close with her is me and Sean Christian used to kick it like all the time, and so I got to know her very well, and we connected. So she was somebody that I got to know very well, but we didn't work together. But for the most part, as soon as you work with someone, you're like you're like tight. But yeah, Eric, it was I had a bunch of different dressing rooms, but Eric Martsoff was across from me. Um, Victoria was next to me. And then who was to the right of me? Greg Vaughn was next to me for a minute. Lindsay Godfrey was across the hall. So that was kind of like my little neighbor area there. And then Galen, you'd always see Galen because he had the room right at the bottom of the stairs. So anytime you go up or down the stairs, you pass Galen's room. Yeah, I don't watch. I watched Days the first 2 years that I was on the show because it was like new and awesome, and I was like, holy crap. And then for like 5 or 6 years, I even more than that, 7 years, I never watched unless it was something significant like the wedding or like a fight scene or something. I was like, let me check it out. Or if it was on at work and I happened to be there having lunch and I would turn it on and I'd see some scenes or whatever. And then the last 4 months, I watched my scenes because we did a recap on the podcast. So from like May of 2020 to September 2020, I watched my last 4 months and I did commentary on it with Alyssa. But yeah, I never really watched the show just because it's everyone I know everyone. I know the sets were around it, consumed in it, so I never really watched it. Oh yeah, Miami's awesome. Miami's my new Vegas. We used to be able to hop in the car and in 4 hours be to Vegas when we were in LA, and now we're 4 hours from Miami. All right, let me just a couple more questions here. Joe Mascolo stories. Unfortunately, I don't. I I worked with him briefly, but when I first started too, I was super young and I didn't. I was all about myself at the time and just kind of living the dream, and I didn't take the time to get to know people like I did as I got older. And so, unfortunately, I don't have any Joe stories for you. But we see that's the thing with Days, and maybe some of the other actors have a different experience, or maybe things changed a little bit. But I never really have any good behind the scenes stories for you because this isn't like a prime time show where you have like 6 hours of just like doing nothing. We're always working. Like when we're there, you're just always like hair and makeup, dry blocking, doing your lines, taking a break, going to lunch, coming back, doing more dry blocking, changing your wardrobe, waiting for someone to get their scene. You can run your lines and you're back up on set. You do your lines, get dressed, and you go. It's very rare that we ever like goofed off, hung around. Like I don't really have any like crazy stories. Like if anything, the crazy like stories I do have are what I feel other actors, it's kind of their stories to tell because I just used to hear a bunch of stories from some of the vets there who used to tell just like how things were different in the early 2000s working there. And um but yeah, unfortunately I don't have any good. That's always like hard. So I was like, oh, who, what's something. But yeah, I don't really have anything crazy for you. Yeah, Robert Scott Wilson, him and I got along very well. We knew him and I were neighbors for a minute. He lived right across the street from me for a good year and a half, I think. And me and Alyssa went on a double date with him and his girl Janelle. And so yeah, me and Robert have been really cool for a while. We worked together for a while too, and then we kind of didn't, where we would see each other, but we didn't really work together. Yeah, Allison Sweeney was great. She was always very professional, and she had the energy that was slightly different because she also directed some of the episodes. She's been there for a while, and so she always kind of just had a grand scope of what was happening. And I always feel like she had some extra input that was always helpful. But a lot of the vets, like you learn stuff just by watching them because they've done so many scenes and so many storylines. So we just learned a lot. But yeah, everyone was great. Like as much as like I literally never I don't have any juice of any sort. Like it was just chill. Like everyone was just nice. Um and just professional, and that's how it has to be. You can't do that many shows in that time frame if people weren't professional or didn't get along. So everyone was just very, very sweet and very awesome. And I think I earned people's respect over the years just by being professional, showing up on time, knowing my lines. So I could feel people took a liking to me just by doing good work, showing up and doing good work. And I think I earned the respect of everybody there. Um, and it was good. Yeah, me and Chandler got along. Him and I got closer as we got older. I feel we like him and I were always close, but again, we're both young. I know I was young, and like my head just wasn't in the same space. Like I can't describe it, but my first like 3 4 years there, uh, you know, I was just like a selfish young kid, not in a bad way, but just didn't. I was just there to like work, be on a TV show. I was making money for the first time and like hanging out with my friends like after work and like we were just in a different place. But I did hang out with Chandler a few times when we were younger and we would all kind of do stuff. But then as we got older, everyone gets busy, so we never really hung out outside of work. But me and Chandler connected on a deeper level as we got older just because our interests started to align too. Not that they didn't before, but like as we got older, like we started like just really caring about some of the same stuff. Like we could sit and talk about money or investing or politics and also just be like knuckleheads too. Like we could just goof around and have fun. So I feel like our friendship definitely grew in the past 3 4 years and we became really tight. So we're hoping to meet up because he doesn't live that far from me. He lives like 6 hours away. He's in Atlanta. So I feel like we'll meet up at some time. And we talked about it on this virtual event not too long ago that we'll probably do something together in the future. I don't know what that will be or when it'll be, but we'll definitely I feel do something. Okay. Yeah, my phone is on its last battery here. All right. Well, I'm going to hop off before my phone dies. And I just want to thank you all for hanging out with me tonight. Thank you so much for all your kind questions and interesting questions. This is always really great to just shoot the S and talk with all of you. So I'm wishing you a wonderful Halloween and a great week. And I'll be popping on sometime in the near future to answer some more questions and hang out. So take care, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. And take care, you two. Appreciate you. Thanks for hopping on our second channel too. I wanted to go live over here because I was like, let me get some attention over on this new channel as we're growing. I really hope you like the clips channel. I think it's been very helpful. In case someone can't watch an hour of our podcast, we can put little clips out there. So thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate y'all, and we'll see you next week.